Today I have the Enya Music Inspire, and I want to give some thoughts after having it and spending some time with it for around 90 days now. A couple of months ago, Enya Music was kind enough to send me this Inspire guitar to review on my channel. They did not pay me or compensate me in any way otherwise, so all of my thoughts are my own. However, they did provide this for me. I will say, and this is consistent with my first video, but I have not picked up a guitar and played it more than I have since this has been here. It's been a long time since I guess been excited about guitar in a way, because I do all sorts of other kinds of composing and creating music, and guitar often falls to the back burner sometimes. A lot of times when I go to practice or just want to sit down and play, I don't want to set up my whole studio and plug all my things in just to get some guitar tones. So it's been really nice to just have some sounds kind of on tap that will just allow me to play and experience, the joy in playing guitar again. I still think this is a super unique offering with the built-in speaker and all of the smart electronics involved in it that allows you to have all of your amp and pedal tones in one box with nothing else extra. That's really cool, and I've not really seen it done on this level before. I also have the foot switch now. This was sent a little late. I don't know if it got lost in the mail or what, but I received this after I did my initial review video. I really have been enjoying the foot switch. This takes the guitar to a different level because then you can switch presets and change all your tones without having to stop playing and touch things on the guitar, just like you would kind of a traditional pedal board. So this will walk you through all of your different tones, and whatever preset tone you have set on each knob is what will happen when you hit that button. So you've got your clean, your overdrive, your distortion, and your high gain, and it does toggle it right on the guitar when you hit it. So that's been great for practice, and it's really small, lightweight, fits in the case. All of that is really good. I like that a lot. Some other things I really like about this guitar is that it's carbon fiber, which is just a unique experience as far as playing and holding it, and I'm a little less afraid to let it get banged up, I guess, because it's carbon fiber and it can take a bit more abuse than your traditional wood maple type of guitar. I also love having the coil tap on the humbucker to be able to get those kind of single coil traditional Strat sounds out of this, along with the humbucker super Strat. And the tremolo is really nice. It's got a perfect balance of kind of the give you want, but it's not flopping all over the place. So it's really nice both for like dive bomb type stuff, as well as just gentle tremolo, which is where I like to use it. And it is floating, so you can go up and down with it. Probably one of my favorite feeling tremolo systems I've had in a guitar. I also want to note that you have to be careful with the noise gate in the app. You almost always have to have the noise gate on, otherwise it will it just goes, it oscillates. You got a speaker right there by the strings, so if you're wanting that sound, it's really easy to get. Otherwise, you do have to be a little careful with your volume and the way you set up the noise gate in the app. Just something to note. It's fun, but it's also not fun at the same time. In my first video, I was having trouble navigating the app, and I wanted to give it some time and use it a little bit more to make sure, it wasn't user error or anything like that. But the app is still, unfortunately, pretty difficult. That's probably my biggest complaint with the guitar and this ecosystem, is how the app is. I don't have one word for it. It's kind of can feel clunky at times, and the user experience, like where you think buttons are and that kind of stuff, is not very intuitive. So it takes some getting used to. Things don't quite work how you want them to. It took me like an hour to figure out how to bypass a pedal, turn on and off a specific effect, which you do by swiping up and down on the app. Things like that, it just felt kind of cumbersome. More than once, it dumped all of my saved presets. I'm not sure what happened. Again, that could be user error. Maybe there's something that an update comes out and fixes. But a few times I went through, even once prepping for this video today, I went through and I made 4 tones, and then I came back and the tones weren't there. I don't know what happened. I definitely hit save, but they were just gone. So that was odd. The app does have some cool functionality like a drummer track, tuner, and a metronome, and even some sort of tab creator. But there's a lot to learn there. So if you are not very technically inclined, just be aware of that. It takes a little bit of getting used to. It's definitely really cool to be able to save all the different presets and things you can, and you have options for modulation, EQ, delay, reverb, and even a noise gate, plus 2 different amp tones, kind of a clean and a distorted amp. However, I would really love to see in future updates getting some more controls over the different tones, maybe adding some other effects. I think there's a whole world of untapped potential there to continue to expand that ecosystem, and I hope they do continue to send out updates and do that. So if you are considering buying an Enya Music Inspire, I want to speak to who I would recommend this product for. Anyone who's early in their guitar learning adventure, this is a fantastic purchase. It definitely plays and feels like a much more expensive guitar. So if you have a really terrible guitar with terrible action and you just hate playing it, this would be a great upgrade just from that standpoint. And it's great that it's your whole ecosystem, because especially when you're first learning guitar, like, you got to get the guitar, you got to get the amp, you got to get all the pedals, you got to get everything interconnected and working together, and that can be a pain, honestly. So to get all of that in one package would be a 10 out of 10 for beginners. And especially if you're, intermediate advanced and you have a little bit more budget, this could be a great travel guitar, because I wouldn't be afraid. At $500, it might be one of the cheapest guitars I have, which is great for a travel guitar. I'm not afraid of it getting banged up or damaged or things like that. It's not, it's not my $2,000 Fender American Telecaster. There's a difference there. Plus, with the carbon fiber and just the way it's built, I feel like it would stand up really well in that traveling type of environment. Along those same lines, there are some people I would probably recommend not pick this up. So if you are looking for a professional tiered, like, going to take this out gigging instrument, I don't think that's quite there for this. This would typically not be a product I would purchase as someone who does full-time music creation. I love that I am able to try it out and experience something new. However, specifically the lack of the tone knob gets me. I'm a very big tone knob user, and so if I were to be taking this live or taking this to studio sessions or using it day in, day out to make records, I would need that tone knob function. I don't really mind anything else about it. It's really that tone knob function. Also, it does that sometimes, and I don't know if that's a coming from the guitar thing or if it's just a speaker thing. It's happened a handful of times now, and I don't know. I'm curious if it recorded on the recorder when I was doing the 1/4 inch out. Right now I'm using the speaker and it's doing that popping. So I'm not sure where that's coming from. That's a little bit weird as well. I also feel the pickups are a good amount darker than you'd typically get for this kind of setup. So in comparing it to a Telecaster or a Strat or something with a humbucker in the bridge, it is noticeably darker. Again, that's not a deal breaker, just something to know. This is darker than with just your baseline kind of Fender type of guitar. As far as tone is concerned, while we're talking about pickup darkness and brightness, the built-in tones in the app aren't necessarily, I don't know if you want to say studio quality, but they're definitely not up to par with like the Kemper or the Helix. But granted, we're talking about an app in a $500 guitar, just part of the package, versus a $1,500 or $2,000 dedicated amp sim solution. So it's not quite an apples to apples comparison, because that's just a small factor. You're paying for the guitar and you get an app and some sounds that come with it. So there's definitely that worth considering as well. If you're really looking for a studio recording solution, it's not quite there. If you don't care about your tone knob and you have your own amp sims, it can definitely hang there. My final verdict on it is I love that it's gotten me to just pick up and play the guitar more. That's something I feel like I've lost over the years of starting to do this full time, and it has been great to just pick it up carefree and play guitar. I remember especially when I first got it, the first few weeks I was just grabbing it all the time, because it's really great. You just grab it and turn it on and play some sounds. The app, if you've got the patience for it, you can work around the app. It definitely feels like there's room for improvement. And I really hope they do continue updating it and making it better, because it is a great foundation for what they're trying to build. I just would love to see, steady improvements as they go. Overall, I do think this is a great guitar, and it serves the purpose it was created for in the marketplace. But I'd love to know your thoughts. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this guitar, or if there's something else you think you might prefer. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks again to Enya Music for sending me the Inspire. We'll see you on the next one.